Hello there, you're welcome to the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. My name is Obiageli Ugoke. First, the headlines. Nigeria is not a failed state. Information and Culture Minister react to fake news on state of the nation. Federal government arraigns Omoyele Sowore and 4 others for allegedly leading a protest against bad governance on New Year Eve. 8,000 rural women benefit from federal government's 20,000 naira grant in Kano State. And now the details. Nigeria is not a failed state and cannot be a failing state. The Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed stated this at a media briefing in Lagos. The minister, who described as jaundiced analysts who have made Nigeria their pastime refusing to see positive aspects of the country, have sustained their negative wish for the nation by continually spewing fake news and promoting hatred among the citizens.
Migration, as well as to boost national economy and strengthen border security. Exercise is being coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor and comprises the Nigeria Customs Service, the Nigerian Immigration Service, the Armed Forces of Nigeria, as well as the Nigerian Police Force and other security and intelligence agencies. I can report to you, gentlemen, that over a year into the exercise, it is a huge success, having saved resources and enhanced national security. The importation of drugs and proliferation of small arms, which usually fuel violent extremism, terrorism in the country, have been significantly curtailed. The central bank also pledged to pump 1.1 trillion into critical sectors of the economy. There's also the commencement of a 3-month repayment moratorium for all trader money, market money, and farmer money loans. Similar moratorium to be given to all federal government funded loans issued by the Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, and the Nigerian Export-Import Bank. Of course, we also have the 774,000 special public works jobs, 1,000 jobs per each local government, which is now scheduled to commence this January. As a matter of fact, I think it's on Wednesday. The program is designed for artisans to do public works for 3 months at 20,000 per person per month.
Details will come in our subsequent bulletins. In the meantime, head of African nations say the African continent, a free trade area, will help to bring enormous opportunities for Africa's development, create new jobs, and boost trade relations. Chairman of the African Union and President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, say this while responding to the recent launch of the agreement. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement took effect January 1st this year, with the aim of boosting trade on the continent. Cyril Ramaphosa said while many leaders hope the deal will improve trade and economic relations as well as end war and violence, it is essential to ensure long-term progress of the trade deal.
There can be no development without peace in Africa. Therefore, we should speed our efforts towards the implementation of the AU Master Plan for silencing the guns.
For his Ghanaian counterparts, Nana Akufo-Addo, the deal will boost intra-African trade.
stimulate investment and innovation, diversify exports, improve food security, foster structural transformation, enhance economic growth, as well as fresh impetus for African entrepreneurs.
The benefit of having this agreement and African free continental trade is just creating additional employment opportunity for the youth.
The trade agreement has so far been signed by 54 member countries of the African Union, having been officially launched in March 2018, with members hopeful that the deal will improve businesses and living standards across the continent. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Nigeria is working out a national action plan for effective monitoring and implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which is come and stream. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Adeni Adebayo says the national monitoring mechanism will tidy the legal framework and also prevent Nigeria from becoming a dumping ground on the continent. Lydia Samson completes the story.
Development experts are not in doubt that the African Continental Free Trade Area is creating a huge economic bloc. However, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are unanimous that Nigeria must have deliberate policies to harness the benefits of the single African market. The federal government is not unmindful of this.
We are growing our production and service capacity. We are updating our policies, regulations, and laws. We are improving our trade logistics and power infrastructure. We are consolidating our trade facilitation and ease of doing business programs. We are upgrading our quality infrastructure. We are actively driving the expansion of Nigerian businesses into select African markets. We are growing our skill base and human capacity. We are enforcing our borders and ensuring seamless coordination among agencies of government, between government and private sector, and between Nigerian government and business community and their counterparts in Africa.
Nigeria is projected to benefit especially through provision of services to the rest of the continent, but the need to recalibrate production chains for manufacturing of critical goods and commodities was also highlighted.
One of the things that come into play is the capacity, building capacity of the people, removing them from poverty, creating jobs. The real challenge is how to overcome this problem, which can come using the African Continental Agreement for development. Then we must continuously promote trade literacy. We need to, because it's a complex treaty. All those issues we are raising now, that means that we must keep on educating ourselves. What are the processes, the clauses in the treaty?
The guest noted that Nigeria has a lot to capture in the African market and advocated capacity building for monitoring the country's economic and developmental progress in the African Continental Free Trade Area. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
And on federal government's grant disbursements, 8,000 rural women have benefited from the federal government's 20,000 naira grant in Kano State. The beneficiaries drawn from the 44 local government areas of the state are operators of small household businesses. Abdullahi Mustafa, who covered the symbolic disbursement of the grants, reports that the intervention is part of programs being implemented by the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development.
Rural women are key beneficiaries of the federal government social intervention program, which is aimed at addressing the plight of the poor and vulnerable in the country. More than 12,000 households have so far benefited in various ways since 2015. The Grant for Rural Women program, introduced in 2020, is part of strategies to actualize President Buhari's national vision of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years.
It is designed to provide a one-off grant to some of the poorest and most vulnerable women in rural and semi-urban areas of the country.
To appreciate the efforts of the ministry for giving Kano the largest share of this special intervention program.
Daharatu Mukhtar, a widow and mother of 13 children, is one of the 8,000 women who benefited from the program in Kano State. She is happy that enough capital has been provided to strengthen her food business, which remains the family's source of livelihood. Daharatu and more than 100,000 other rural women across the country are expected to have increased income and productive assets through the program. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Anti-immigration travel restriction following the directives by the federal government imposing temporary travel restrictions on 100 passengers due to non-compliance to the mandatory day 7 post-arrival COVID-19 PCR test. The Comptroller General of Nigeria Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandede, has ordered the relevant formations to ensure immediate compliance with the travel restrictions order. In a statement, the Immigration Board say the 14 passengers have been restricted for a period of 6 months, beginning from January 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2021. The statement explained further that all the affected passengers have been notified and will be prevented from passports reissuance and traveling outside the country during this period. The Nigerian Immigration Service wants all affected passengers to comply to avoid breaching public health protocols and refusal of departure. And on our global updates, UK steps up inoculations with Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. This is just as UK judge refuses US extradition of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. Justin Bermunye brings an update on news across the globe.
The UK on Monday became the first nation in the world to start using the COVID-19 vaccine developed by Oxford University and drug maker AstraZeneca, ramping up a nationwide inoculation program as rising infection rates are putting an unprecedented strain on British hospitals. Brian Pinker, an 82-year-old dialysis patient, received the first shot at 7:30 a.m. at Oxford University Hospital. The rollout of the new vaccine comes at a crucial moment for UK authorities who are battling a surge in infections blamed on the new virus variant that authorities have said is much more contagious. Meanwhile, scientists in South Africa urgently testing to see if the vaccines for COVID-19 will be effective against the country's variant virus. The genomic studies come as Britain's Health Minister Matt Hancock and other experts in the UK have said they worry that vaccines may not be effective against the South African variant. Dr. Richard Lessels, an infectious diseases expert who is working on the country's genomic studies of the variant, says the tests, called neutralizing assays, will help determine the reliability of vaccines against the variant. This is just as global confirmed cases of the pandemic now surpass 85.8 million, with Nigeria recording 90,080. In other news, a British judge on Monday rejected the United States' request to extradite WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to face espionage charges, saying he was likely to kill himself if held under harsh U.S. prison conditions. The 49-year-old is wanted over the publication of thousands of classified documents in 2010 and 2011. The U.S. claims the leaks broke the law and endangered lives. Mr. Assange has fought the extradition and says the case is politically motivated. The U.S. authorities have 14 days in which to lodge an appeal and are expected to do so. Mr. Assange will now be taken back to Belmarsh prison where he is being held, and a full application for his bail will be made on Wednesday. In the meantime, U.S. President Donald Trump has extended a ban on new green cards and work visas by 3 months, citing continued weakness in the U.S. labor market due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Thanks for watching. My name is Justin Bemunyi.
Many thanks, Justin, for that update. You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. Time for a break now. More news when we return. Welcome back. The federal government has arraigned the convener of Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore, and 4 others before the magistrate court in Wusezon 2 Abuja for allegedly leading a protest against bad governance on New Year's Eve at the Gudu area of Abuja. Olabode Arewa reports on the day's court proceedings.
The 5 defendants pleaded not guilty to the charges of criminal conspiracy, unlawful assembly, and attempt to incite others against the federal government. Recall that Omoyele Sowore is still under prosecution before a federal high court in another matter for calling for a revolution against the government. His counsel, Marshal Abubakar, prayed the court to grant him bail pending the trial, but the court ordered him to file a formal bail application. The matter has been adjourned to Tuesday.
You see, the constitutional provision is that you should take them to the court anytime the court, if there's any court at all that is sitting within the purview of their time of detention. And that is why I've told you that as far as we are concerned, in FCT here, the first opportunity of court sitting is only today. And that's why they are here before the court.
Sowore was not part of that protest. He was not part of that rally. He just came in and intervened when they saw them beating the Nigerian citizen. And he said, why are you beating these persons?
Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress APC has closed its case of alleged certificate forgery leveled against Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki. At the resumed trial before the Federal High Court Abuja, the APC called 2 more witnesses who testified under cross-examination that Godwin Obaseki's degree certificate obtained in 1979 from the University of Ibadan appeared to have been altered. Governor Obaseki is slated to open his defense on Tuesday, and by the court's calculation, the lifespan of the pre-election matter lapses at the end of this week. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
In another development, the Ebonyi State government has described the video trending on the social media alleging forceful ejection of herders from the state as a work of mischief makers who wants to cause disaffection amongst the people. This position was made known after an emergency security meeting between security chiefs and herders in the state. Chinaza John reports.
The meeting, attended by members of Meiti Allah Cattle Breeders Association in Ebonyi State and all security chiefs at the instance of the state government, was to clear the air on purported ejection of Fulani herders in the state. The Secretary to Ebonyi State Government, Dr. Kenneth Ubala, and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Cletus Ofoke, stated that herders and their host communities are coexisting peacefully. Hence, there was no need to create such tension.
We want to put it on good record that such information or situation has been painted can never be traced in any part of the Ebonyi State. The security chiefs are here. All of them are seated here. There is no such record before government.
I want to tell the whole world that Ebonyi State government is highly embarrassed by that video in circulation because nothing of such ever existed in Ebonyi State.
The Secretary of Meiti Allah Cattle Breeders Association in the state, Alhaji Sani Inusa, disclosed that one of their members, Alhaji Adamu, decided to move back to his state in search of greener pastures and as his new title demands, stressing that none of their members are under attack of any kind in the state.
And normally in Ebonyi State, the governments are doing well, which normally the only opportunity they are giving to us, and they are not the one that says then the video is fake, is not true. So that is our own stand, and the governments are doing their best to make sure there's peace between the Fulani and the natives.
The Commissioner of Police in Ebonyi State, Philip Marco, called on residents to remain calm and go their lawful business as the command has commenced investigation to fish out the originator of the said video.
The background, if you look at it very clear, there was no element of any violence in that. People were loading, laughing and joking. So if somebody was in threat, I don't think. But we are working on it to ensure that who brought that, who circulated that video.
Present at the meeting was a brother to Alhaji Adamu, who however declined talking to NTA News. Alhaji Adamu on 2nd January 2021 decided to relocate some of his families to Taraba State in search of greener pastures. But someone filmed his peaceful relocation, alleging that he was being forced out of Ebonyi State. In Abakaliki, Chinaza John, NTA News.
On federal government housing loan, the Buhari Media Organization BMO has described the social housing scheme of the Buhari administration as a reflection of the president's lifelong pro-masses and pro-people mindset. The group said in a statement that this is why the government is going to great lengths to ensure that people earning as low as 30,000 a month can easily benefit from a mass housing program. BMO added that there is every reason for Nigerians to key into the scheme, which is also aimed at creating jobs for young professionals. It also noted that there would be mortgage facilities available for interested subscribers, adding that an open portal has since been set up for the selection process to ensure a level playing field. And on a sad note, President Buhari has condoled with the family of poet, author, sports administrator, and journalist Otumba Eddie Aderinokun, who died at the age of 80. In a statement, the president saluted the more than 60 years of vibrant journalism practice by Aderinokun, as well as his footprint in sports development, particularly volleyball, where he made his mark as a very successful chairman of the Nigerian Volleyball Federation. President Buhari lauded the fact that Aderinokun, as president of Nigeria League of Veteran Journalists, shared his wealth of experience and guided younger professionals on the path of ethics and good conduct. He urged the family, friends, the media, and sporting fraternity to strive to keep Otumba Aderinokun's memory alive. Similarly, President Buhari has commiserated with the academia over the passing of former Vice Chancellor of University of Lagos, Professor Oyewusi Ibidabo Obey. The president affirmed that the scholar and administrator who missed the academic government and the country as his sudden transition left a gap that will be difficult to fill. President Buhari condoled with students and staff of the University of Lagos and the Nigerian Universities Commission over the loss, as well as the government and people of Osun State. The president praised for the repose of the soul of the scholar and God's comfort for his family. And on sports updates, Golden Eaglets in high spirit ahead of Wafu B tournament in Togo. Bade Adeleye has more on sports updates.